Hey, my name is Cedric from Vertex Marketing Agency, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Facebook and Instagram shop. Now, a few months ago, there was actually a Facebook rep that sent me an email and asked us if we wanted to test this new feature for Facebook, and it was new back then. And in exchange of testing the feature, they would actually give us $25,000 US that we could add to our current spend. So we thought about it, and we actually decided to drink the Kool-Aid, so we accepted the $25,000 in exchange of testing that feature. And the feature was to not send the traffic directly to our website, but instead to use the website or shop feature, which basically gives the option to Facebook to either send the user to the website or to send it to your Facebook or Instagram shop. And then at this point, the purchase would happen inside Facebook. And we were actually pretty surprised with the results. So that's actually why I wanted to make this video, so that I can share with you exactly what are the pros and cons, so that right now, if ever you're thinking about using that feature, after watching this video, you're gonna know exactly if it's for you or not. So with that being said, let's get into today's content. So I just want to start by letting you know who's eligible for this feature and who's not. First of all, you need to be in the e-com industry, so you can't really be a service-based business. As I'm recording this video, using the Facebook and Instagram checkout experience is not available for service-based business, although you can create your Facebook or Instagram shop if you're a service-based business, but you can't use the checkout feature. Now, another thing is your platform needs to integrate with the Facebook and Instagram shop. As I'm recording this video, I know that Shopify does integrate really nicely with Facebook, and for that reason, they do offer they offer the Facebook and Instagram checkout with anyone really using Shopify, as long as you meet some other requirements, like you have like a verified domain and a few other things inside your business manager. But usually, like 99% of the companies will qualify for that feature. The other thing I just want to say is, if ever you're not a Shopify user, Google and see if WooCommerce has a native integration with Facebook. I know they do for the Facebook and Instagram shop, but see if they also support the checkout feature. And the last thing I want you to know is that it's not available in all countries. I know that for United States it is available, but in some other countries that feature is not available. So just go ahead and look up if your country has that feature available to you if you don't live inside the United States. What I actually have right in front of me are all the requirements that you need to meet in order to be able to have access to this feature. I'll leave that link in the description of this video so you can go ahead and check out this article. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go inside my demo ad account, and I want to show you how you can actually use the feature if it's available to you. So you can click on the create button. Now you're going to want to select your campaign objective. So since again, you're setting this up for an e-com store, you're probably going to select a sales most of the time. Well, for this example, to have access to the feature, you need to use a sales objective. Now I'm gonna hit continue. If I go down to the ad set level, okay, so I am on the ad set level, and usually when you're setting up your campaign, you're probably choosing the website option, so drive sales and conversions on your website. We actually have an option called website and shop, and let's actually just read it together. So it says we'll automatically send people either to your website or to your shop on Facebook or Instagram. Each person will be directed to the destination that we think will most likely lead to a conversion. So what Facebook or Meta, what they're going to do is that they're going to decide if that user is most likely to convert on your website or potentially on the Meta app. And if ever they think that there's a higher chance that the user will convert on your website, when they click, let's say, the shop now button, it's going to bring them to the website. But if Meta thinks that this user would convert on the Facebook, like on your Facebook shop, then they're actually going to bring it there, and the user's really never going to land on your website. There's actually some pros and cons for using that method, and one of them is actually lowering the cost per result. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the pros, and I'm going to share with you based on my experience, because I spent thousands and thousands of dollars with that feature right here. So I'm going to give you my feedback, and I'm going to start with the pros, and I'll go with the cons because there are some, and I think it's important for you to know them. So when we ran our campaign and we selected the website and shop feature, what we noticed is that 13% of all our purchases were actually we were using the Facebook and Instagram checkout method. Now the other 87%, they actually went to the website. So that was an interesting thing to see. I thought that the Facebook and Instagram checkout was going to be higher. I thought it was going to be maybe like more like 30% that, and then the other 70% would be like website. But no, the majority of the purchases were actually still just happening on the website. But when Facebook thought that they could actually still get that purchase, but by using the Facebook and Instagram shop, then they were doing it. And I think that this is just for now. And if I was to test again this feature in in 5 to 6 months from now, I think as time goes by, we're gonna see the percentage increase for the Facebook and Instagram shop, because I think it's a little bit like when they came out with the lead generation on Facebook for the first time. So for the first time, people were able to submit their application, like their first name, last name, email, and all that kind of information directly on Facebook. And I feel like a lot of people were hesitant, like submitting that information on the Facebook app. And with time and people just getting used to doing it, now it's normal. And now your cost per lead when you're doing a lead generation and having like a Facebook form is on average, it's usually cheaper than if you were bringing them to the website. Now there's still a bunch of perks of bringing them to a website and doing like a conversion campaign. And then, you bring them to the website and you optimize for a lead event compared to just keeping the experience on the Facebook platform the whole time. But what I'm saying is that for majority of the case, it's actually a little bit cheaper for just doing a lead generation campaign. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing with this feature right here. And I think, again, as time goes by, we're going to see that maybe it's going to be 70% of purchases happening on the Facebook and Instagram checkout, and the other 30% is happening on the website. So I think those numbers are going to change. But now what I think you guys really care about is how did it do in terms of the cost per result or return on ad spend. So for the ad account that I'm talking about, and that's the one where we received the email saying that they're going to give us $25,000 if we test that feature, basically we saw a 45% decrease in our cost per result. So honestly, I was really surprised by that. When I was enrolling myself into this program, I thought that we're going to see a higher cost per result, and because again, it's a new thing that they're testing, and I really thought that's why they were giving us the grant or the credit, is so that we don't mind having a higher cost per result, because at the end of the day, it's not coming out of our own pocket. But no, we actually saw a 45% decrease in cost per result and an overall 65% increase on return on ad spend. So yeah, I was definitely really impressed, and I'm going to need to test this out a lot more to be able to confidently say that no matter what type of e-com company, if you're using this feature, is going to decrease your cost per result and increase your return on ad spend. But so far, in my opinion, it's looking really positive. We're actually done with the grant. We've used the entire $25,000 and we're still using that campaign. So I did not turn it off, and now we're using our own budget because it's actually performing better than the campaign that we had before that. Definitely amazing. That's why we're going to continue using it until we find that the results or the cost per results start, I guess, increasing again. But for now, honestly, it's looking really positive. So I would say that's probably like one of the biggest pros from what I found is when I use this, it actually decreased the cost per result and increased the return on ad spend. And that's something that can be tracked inside Ads Manager. So when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about like a third-party analytics tools. It's really in Ads Manager. I can see a decrease in cost per result and increase in return on ad spend. So I would say that's probably the biggest pros. Another great thing about this is usually when you do what Facebook wants you to do, they compensate you for it. And let's just think about like stories. So when Instagram was really competing with Snapchat, if ever you were to post a story on Instagram, you would get a lot more reach and more impressions and everything if you were to just do stories. And that's because that's what they were pushing. Well, now it's the same thing with Reels. So they're obviously competing against TikTok and they're pushing Reels a lot. And even for ads, that's why lots of people are kind of like switching to Square Ads and doing a little bit more by 4x5 and some other formats so that you can actually show in the Reels placement, which by the way, I think is an awesome placement. It's going to be the same thing with this where it's already there. Facebook wants you to use the Facebook and Instagram shop because, and I'll tell you why in just a few minutes, why they want you to use that. But for now, just know that they want you to use that and they will compensate you for that. And the way they compensate you for it is by giving you a cheaper cost per result and then a higher return on ad spend. So for me, it actually just makes sense. And if ever it does make sense for your company and you're testing this out and you're getting better results, and obviously keep it. I'm going to talk about the cons now because there are some. So the first one is actually the price. So as I'm recording this video, it's actually free to use this feature, but this is all going to change in 2023. So starting June 30th, 2023, you're going to have to start paying for this. And let me just verify this. I have an article here and they talk about the fee. So the fee will actually be 5% per shipment. So it's a little bit like you're going to be giving 5% of your company away as I'm understanding this. So it is a decent amount. So I think when June 30th, 2023 comes around, we're going to have to see and look, okay, well, when we're using this feature, well, are we able to generate more purchases? So can we justify that 5% loss? And I think that's a decision that most companies are going to have to make at that point. But for now, we're not there. So it's still free to use. That's why I'm making the video. And I think you should test it out because it's free. And if ever it doesn't work out for you, well, who cares? You didn't lose that 5%. Just keep that in mind. I would say that's probably one of the biggest cons. Now, another cons would be if your product is complicated. So for example, let's say you're buying a chair. I'm sitting on a chair right now, and your chair is kind of like adjustable. So you need to select what size you are, like if you want your armrest to be able to move up or down. So you have lots of different features that you can add to your product, right? So it's kind of like a build your own kind of product. Well, with the Facebook and Instagram shop, it's really hard to create a similar experience that you would have on your website, where it's like, okay, click this button and that gets added to the cart, the price changes, or the image of the product changes based on what you select. Maybe it's a t-shirt, right? You can select different color, and based on the color, then the color of the t-shirt changes. So doing that with the Facebook and Instagram shop, I believe actually right now it's not possible. If it is, it's really complicated, and I would say that's definitely a cons, because if for a user to buy your product, they need to answer some questions or click some buttons to configure the product a certain way. With the Facebook and Instagram shop, unfortunately, you won't really be able to do that. So I would say that's probably like the second cons, but outside of that, there's not too many that I can think of. It's really an amazing feature, and actually I'm going to revert back and talk about one more pros, and that's actually one of the reasons why I was really excited about this is because of data loss. So with what happened with iOS 14, we lost so much data because Facebook is having a hard time reading and understanding what's happening on your website because it's a cross-domain tracking. But when the action happens on Facebook, well, they don't really need to worry so much about iOS 14 because the action happens on the platform, a little bit like a lead generation campaign. If anyone ever ran a lead generation campaign and you're using the lead form on Facebook, you know that the amount of leads you actually get will actually get reported inside your ads manager. So it's not going to happen where you get 40 leads on that form and then an ads manager only showing you 10. Whatever you get in, like the amount of form submission that you get, it will represent that inside ads manager. Well, it's going to be the same thing with this, because the purchase happens on Facebook, Facebook can track it, which is amazing, so that Facebook can actually get more data now and they can understand your ideal customer profile way better. And I think that's really great for anyone that has a long sales cycle. So the company that I've used a $25,000 credit for, their sales cycle is pretty long because their product actually costs $280. For someone to just look at the ad, click it, and purchase it, it's not super realistic. And usually they need to do a bit of research and need to think about it because, I mean, it's not a $20 or $30 product. For them, it was actually a little bit difficult being able to attribute sales solely in ads manager. And by using that feature, although as I mentioned, it's only 7% of the overall sales, well, that gave Facebook a 7% boost. And we actually did see an incremental lift in sales inside their Shopify store. So that's what I have to say about this feature, but I actually want to share a case study with you guys from a company called Jane Sports. And it's actually a really good case study, and I'll play it for you guys right now.
For more than 5 decades, we've been proud to design packs that are a true and trusted ally throughout life's adventures. We're always looking for new ways to make our shopping experience more seamless and personalized. For us, it's about reaching the right person with the right message at the right time and sending them to the right place to buy. Meta helps us do exactly that. With Shops ads and Advantage Plus shopping campaigns together, we can run one ad and machine learning decides where to send the customer based on where they're most likely to purchase, either on our website or on our shops on Facebook and Instagram. With this one change, we've seen a 29% improvement in CPAs and a 29% increase in return on ad spend. For a company of our size, or any size really, that's a huge lift. It's super easy to set up. The Advantage Plus shopping campaign completely automates the process across targeting, optimization, creative, and destination. So when I click website and shop, the system sends customers wherever they're most likely to buy. Because we saw such great results from this test, we're confident we found a winning formula that will be part of our core strategy going forward.
So after watching this video and hearing my feedback, are you gonna give this feature a try? Let me know in the comment section, but guys, that is it for this video. Bye for now.